Well, hi, Don. Your buddy Dan. I'm back. Want to take a guess at what movie I think I'm in on that one? All right. Well, anyway, look if I may, right back to it. Thomas Paine, and well, obviously I'm a little bit of a student of history, and I love my politics. You notice the Perot stuff behind me. So in other words, yeah, I really believe it's a responsibility of citizens to be involved and express their ideas, and hopefully they study. We study a little bit, and I got to thank the internet for being here, because the internet brings a research library right into our homes. What a blessing. Sometimes we forget about this blessing. It can mean really a wonderful world if we can limit the all facts a little bit. But again, back to Thomas Paine. He advised us in common sense. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right. And in my reading of Common Sense, what he was talking about was, as people were approached, Americans were being approached as what they intended to do about the situation with England and King George. Some would argue, yeah, we don't need representative democracy. We don't need, a revolution or to be on our own, because, hey, the king, it's always been that way. Well, I'll tell you what, just the idea that it had been that way for so long actually did not make it right. And our founding fathers had learned through the Enlightenment, through studying, through thinking, through caring, for being a human beings wanting a better life, that actually a self-government would be a heck of a lot better than turning all their rights over to king and this divine right of kings poop. So that's the question. Just if it was wrong from the beginning, and that doesn't make it right. So he was hoping to convince people to stand up for themselves. Now, the past 50, 60 years, if I may, of American democracy, now, many of it, people my age, seniors, were involved with the third party movement, because we remembered an America of the 50s, which really was happy days. That was the dream decade. Us seniors, baby boomers, there was full employment. We remember that as kids. The parents were buying homes. Plenty of union jobs with good benefits, good retirement benefits, health insurance. We all had it good. American industry, of course, was rebuilding the world. We didn't approach the rest of the world and say, look, we're standing, you're not, now you're going to be our slaves. No, instead we did the right thing by people, by helping the world rebuild, and we built, and a middle class emerged that, I'll tell you, we had it good. So we dream, of course, of those days. Now, I would love to see those days come back, actually for a very selfish interest, a very simple reason. I really wish I was 18 again, because I'll tell you what, if I was 18 again, at any rate, it looks like the Lord or government is not going to grant me the opportunity to be 18 again, so really it's my responsibility to make the best of the situation of Dan's world that I have. But I need to understand how so many of us became so angry and confused. Now let's face it, after all that good stuff, after a young president, and the idea, when we saw human beings, Americans, being beaten just because they wanted an education, we knew we had to do the right thing. Jack Kennedy set out, and Bobby Kennedy, and Martin Luther King and others set out to assure that we would get that stuff. Civil rights, in other words, for all Americans. We would fix that birth defect of the slavery and all the nonsense, half, one-fifth people, all of that nonsense is going to end. But what do you know? The next thing you know, Vietnam starts up. Jack Kennedy assassinated. Malcolm X assassinated. Martin Luther King assassinated. Bobby Kennedy assassinated. Seems like there's a heck of a lot of violence. There's people who don't want things to change. There are angry, sick people all over the place. And now to make matters worse, so we're getting disillusioned. The hippies are making love, and I've got to tell you what, the righteous, they don't like that. And I remember a church that said, if you have premarital sex, you're on your way to hell. Even if you think about it, by the way, you know. So in other words, all this stuff, this is terrible. America, morality is unraveling, and all the rest of this stuff. There are a lot of fake news, freaking baloney. But it was out there. So Tricky Dick comes along, and he gets an idea called the Southern Strategy. See, what he's going to do is he's going to move people normally voted Democratic into the Republican column of voters by doing what? You just sell the idea. You got to keep the blacks in their face. It's a little bit of a version, bring back slavery, utter nonsense, utter bigotry, utter hate, fear, dishonesty. But he is selling it. He's going to protect it. He's going to keep it like it's always been. And of course, that involved injustice. Well, they don't want to think about that, not too much. They would, the ignorant would now become the backbone of a certain kind of bloc that would be easy to manipulate by big business, whatever they wanted, all out of this fear and hate and this bigotry business.
In 1954, the ruling of the Supreme Court in Brown versus the Board of Education declared that separate was inherently unequal and that integration ought to proceed with all deliberate speed. Not everyone agreed.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
This time, policemen were waiting with German shepherds and fire hoses. But Connor was running out of jail cells. He needed to scare them into stopping. Firemen doubled the water pressure to 100 pounds per square inch. Bull Connor gave the word to let him have it. The water literally blew children off their feet and swept them down the sidewalks. Witnessing this, black millionaire A.G. Gaston interrupted his phone conversation saying, "I can't talk. My people are out there fighting for their lives and my freedom. I have to help them."
Carolyn Mullen,